All right, here we go. Let me see what's happening here, guys. It's going to be an amazing show. I was looking for this for a long time. Yes! Now it's working. Everything is good on that side. Guys, roll this chat, please. If everybody's here, everybody sees it. I don't see how many is live. I don't see who is commenting. I only see what you see now on the screen. But if that's what we are here, I'm super happy that we solved it, and I wanted to do this for a long time. Yo, Fefe, amazing. So cool seeing you guys here, back live, everything. It's amazing. I am stoked. Incredible. All right, guys. Well, there's a bunch of things to talk about today. And one of the biggest things is that I do believe Bitcoin is going to 80,000. And there are a bunch of reasons why that could be. And as you see, the market is already red. And there is like a lot of discussion on what is going to happen with Trump and not Trump. And the biggest problem that we see is Trump adding all these tariffs onto different countries. Like it's candy, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, Netherlands, and Finland to face 10% tariff. I would assume that's extra starting February 1st over Greenland matter. Now, why is this a problem? One, we're gonna go through why that is actually a problem. We're gonna go through the charts, the trades I'm taking, and why I still think that even if we bounce here a little bit, Bitcoin is going to sub 80,000. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Let's jump in here. How many people do we have live, cuz? How many people do we have live? You see that? We're about 400 something people. 405 people. Okay, amazing. All right, cool. Let's get going. I love the legend Fefe. I love you back. Okay, we got the technical difficulties out of the way. Let's go. So, the biggest thing that I think we should talk about today, what was in my mind today, is this whole Trump thing, right? So, Trump wants Greenland. It's everybody's talking about it for the past weeks, but it's getting to a very dangerous level, and that is what I want to talk about, because Trump came out yesterday and said, you know what, we can't get Greenland, no problem, tariff that, tariff to you. And then he gives these 10% tariffs to these countries, and actually the US stock market doesn't react very well to it. So on futures open yesterday, minus 1% on the NASDAQ, about 0.7% on the S&P, Dow Jones down, and not surprisingly, gold and silver is actually making new highs, of course, because of the uncertainty. The reason is because the market is expecting something similar that happened back in April 3rd, 2025. Now, I've been here. You most likely been here. What happened there is out of the blue, Trump came out with the Liberation Day, and he basically dumped these massive 300, 400% tariffs on different countries, and the stock market in 24 hours erased $3 trillion of its market cap. And so I obviously don't think that people expect the same thing to happen, but the reason with these tariffs thing, especially considering the fact that it's going over because of Greenland, is a big issue for people. But I also want you to see that this was the Liberation Day plunge, right? So the Liberation Day massive sell of $3 trillion. And less than a month later, prices has recovered, or maybe 2 months later, prices has recovered. And when there was the second round of FUD around US, China, tariff, this and that, the market didn't really get destroyed by that. My point here is that there is a lot of things to consider and a lot of things to look at when it comes to these tariffs in Greenland, but the concern about these tariffs probably a little bit too much of a flooding side, which could potentially create a massive sell-off. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's talk about Greenland for 2 seconds before we jump into the charts. One of them is Trump and the White House is going full force on here saying, after centuries, it's time for Denmark to give back. World peace is at stake. Remember this, because this is going to be very important. China and Russia want Greenland, and there is not a thing that Denmark can do about it. Now, very important, Bessent comes out and he says, US Secretary Bessent comes out and he says that the US must take Greenland. Not buy them, not ask them, not move them, not help them, not collaborate with. Take Greenland because Europe is too weak to ensure its own security. NATO has been telling Denmark for 20 years that you have to get the Russians threat away from Greenland. Unfortunately, Denmark has been unable to do so, unable to do anything about it. So the whole idea around this whole Greenland situation is that Trump finds it, there are a lot of things about Greenland, resources and whatnot, that is very important for the US, but also geographically, Trump wants Greenland and the other countries do not want to give it up, considering especially Denmark and Denmark allies. So Trump cannot really do much now, but he made a statement already saying they will take Greenland whether with force or buying it, right? So whether with in a good faith or bad faith, they are going to take Greenland. And then he comes out and he starts putting pressure on these different countries, saying, guys, you don't want to give us to Greenland? No problem, 10% tariff too. Greenland's prime minister comes out and says the latest statements from the US, meaning the whole we will take it, we have to take it, and the tariffs, including threats of tariffs, do not change the fact that we will not let ourselves be pressured. Not only that, the EU responds. And we avoided, back when this whole shit show happened, right? We avoided that massive US-EU clash and the EU retaliating in obnoxious levels and the whole trade deal between the US and Europe collapsing. We avoided that, which was primarily also the reason why we could see this kind of rebounds pretty soon after. But if you look at this, the EU is preparing now 93 billion in tariffs and other restrictions on US companies in response to President Trump's 10% tariff. Now, of course, the EU is buying quite a lot of stuff from the US, but that is exactly the opposite in overweight, because that is exactly what Trump wanted with these tariffs initially, that the trade imbalances are not right. There is way too many things coming from the EU without any tariffs than the US. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds, because this, if this actually turns out to be true, and this is all yesterday's news, this whole tariff thing from Trump, so we have to see how the next few days unfold. But if this is true and the EU is preparing something and is going to retaliate for the US, that could spiral into, I'm not saying it will spiral into something like this, but it could spiral into a massive sell-off around the markets. And it's not just because of the tariffs. Tariffs itself is of course a problem, but a bigger problem is this, that NATO, if this carries through, NATO could be dead. Now, I don't know how familiar with you with geography and all that, but depending on where you're watching, this here is the US, right? This here is Denmark on the top of Europe, and this big ass thing here is Greenland, right? Neighboring with Canada. I would not say it's neighboring with Denmark, right? But anyway, as Trump says, they landed a ship there 500 years ago and now it's theirs. And it is, you know, you can't argue that. But what is interesting about this is that there is this thing called NATO, right? You've probably heard about NATO. All these countries coming together and making a coalition and saying, hey guys, if one of us gets attacked, we're gonna destroy that attacker together. That's the whole power. That's why Russia is not doing anything. That's what China is afraid of, you know? So like, you look at all these things and you go, if there are two member states in NATO, meaning Denmark and the US, considering as well that they're one of the top two spenders in NATO based on GDP percentage. So the US is 3.38% of their GDP spent in NATO, and Denmark is 2.37%. So almost the same, but you have to consider Denmark is like a much smaller country and still spends almost the same amount as the US. The US actually spends a ton of money in NATO. About 40% of the entire thing is held by the US. These two countries, if one of these countries, meaning the United States, decides to actually start and invade or take or force Greenland, that means that a NATO state is attacking another NATO state, which directly violates, not only violates, but annihilates so many of the articles within NATO. Because there was, previously you could see with Turkey and Greece, and there were previous precedences where you could have seen something like this. But the extent of the US moving into Greenland and forcefully taking it, I just hope that it's zero chance. But if that happens, what is actually going to happen with NATO? So all these uncertainties, it says here, an invasion of Greenland would destroy NATO. I don't see how that organization could survive, at least not in its present form. Basically, the US would have to leave, which is 45% of the entire NATO budget. That would basically kill NATO in and of itself, would need to start rebuilding, and probably taking back Greenland wouldn't be the priority. Canada came out and they said they would go to war with the US to protect Greenland, right? So such a freaking shit show that we see here. Now, I just hope that it's, again, part of the deal, and Uncle Trump is here to try to figure something out. But if this doesn't get solved, this whole overhang on the market is the reason why silver, gold, and other precious metals are going up. This is the reason why the market feels very, very shaky. And it's not only crypto, as you see on the opening. You can see on the opening, Nasdaq being down 1%, S&P 0.7%. And today is Martin Luther King Day, meaning the markets are not even open. So like the actual trade fight traditional money that is sitting there, we're talking about billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, are not even moving today. So depending on what happens today, this can have major implications. So this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why I do believe that, I mean, this could be one of the reasons why Bitcoin has a flash crash. Easily can happen, okay? Spice this up a little bit and then we can jump onto the charts. Spice this up a little bit. We've got home sales data, not that irrelevant. We have GDP data, very relevant. We're gonna see it on Thursday. We have PCE inflation data happening Thursday. We have S&P Global PMI data, and 10% of the S&P 500 companies report earnings this week. If all of this shit show wasn't enough for the shit show. And just to add that, there is this here? It's not even here, but Tuesday the court should rule on Trump's the Supreme Court should rule on Trump's tariff thing, meaning we will see if Trump's tariffs stay or not. This could stir the pot as well, because imagine if the tariffs get invalidated, meaning there is a struck down from the Supreme Court, and Trump is trying to negotiate for Greenland with the tariffs that will be struck down and they need to pay back hundreds of billions of dollars. It's gonna be a very, very interesting week. One thing I can tell you is that markets do not like uncertainty. And whether you want it to believe, whether you want it to go up, whether you want it to go down, it doesn't really matter. One thing is the only thing that matters, and that is the markets don't like uncertainty. I do not see any possibility for Bitcoin to start pushing to new highs here, because why? Because why would Bitcoin start rallying? Anyway, so there is this Supreme Court unlikely to block tariffs. Just as a caveat to it, I do believe that if the strike down, I do believe that would be a little bit bullish for the markets, because again, there is less uncertainty. But then again, with this whole EU 10% tariff, there is just one more bit of oil in the fire. Bassan came out and he said yesterday that the court is unlikely to block tariffs, yet there is a 75% chance on Polar market that it is going to be struck down. So we'll see how this goes, but one thing is certain, we're looking ahead for a very interesting week. Now, a lot of times, so I want to say before I jump into the comments here for a bit, because how many people do we have live here? We're 14 minutes in the show, and almost 700 guys. Finally, we are back here. Finally, we are back on live. I wanted to say that a lot of times this makes me wonder, you know, when there is these uncertainties and there is war and this and that, I always wonder, like, what kind of impact does this going to have on any given exchanges or whatnot? And it always comes up that this is why I like to work with quality people and quality exchanges. For example, OKX. The reason why I'm bringing OKX here is because a lot of times when there's uncertainty, you start questioning, you know, where you put your own money. And OKX is one of the most licensed, regulated exchanges that I've ever seen, compliant exchanges that I've ever seen. So if you want a place where you can be sure that your money is safe, audited by a third party, compliant on all different jurisdictions, having all licenses needed, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in the States, whether it's MiCA, whether it's whatever you might need, OKX could be the best place. Go and check them out. Again, I always say that you have to use a cold storage, but then you also have to use exchanges that you know 100,000,000% follow the procedures that need to be followed, whether you're a company, whether you're a private person. There's a link in the description to OKX. Go and check them out. They are partners here on the channel. They have a Web3 wallet as well built in, an incredible exchange, and most importantly, very safe. So go and check them out. Let's go. Smash the like. What's happening here? So quiet in the chat. What's happening here? Good day from Australia. Billions and billions and billions and billions. I think my thing froze here. Is that correct? Did it freeze? Cause no, it's working. Okay. Are we still the exit liquidity? We're not the exit liquidity. Your hoodie. My hoodie is amazing. Hey, look at the back. Actually, I got it sent from a cool team. Look. It's an amazing hoodie. Where is it? Can you send me the link to the X? I'm gonna show it to people. It's 12 AM here in Straja, mate. Kwanda from Argentina, processing all the info, Fefe. Yeah, so I think it's time to process. Can you also turn the AC off, please? It is time to process. Zdravo. it is time to process, and this is why I always say the chart is always telling us what we need to see way before it happens, right? So one of the things that we really need to start considering is let's go here. One of the things that we need to consider here is the chart, right? The chart always tells the story. And the way the chart tells me the story now, and I've been short here. Like if you're not in the community, by the way, I have a whole private community. It's free to join. It's a Telegram link. Cause already pinned it up here in the top of the live chat. You can see it in the description as well. But I've been short yesterday, and this is what I drafted on the 100x Club. Like I said, we need to have a pullback here, and that pullback will or might be a great buying opportunity. But looking at this candle here, guys, I'm not really sure. I am long for a scalp trade here up to the retrace when institutional money comes back tomorrow. But ultimately, I don't see any strength in the market. Please do not forget that this here, and I've been longing it down here when we had the retrace. It's amazing, but the trade is done, guys. If you look at the daily chart, this here is an elevator down and stairs up. There is no reason to believe that this is the beginning of the major reversal. Reversals don't happen like this. Reversals happen like this. Reversals happen like this. They don't happen like this, you know? So anyway, that tells me that there is another flush down. And if I just look at the Bitcoin chart and I say, you know, what would be the next level? The next level is down here at 80,550, which still would be within this weekly order block. So this would still be nothing else but a retrace, right? You never see, or rarely do you see this screwing around and then a pump. Rarely. So that says that we need to make a new low, in my opinion, and then we can push higher. Sub 80,000 is the region. Between 75 and 80,000 is my next target. Of course, on a shorter time frame, I told you this today. On a shorter time frame, I do believe that we can see a push. I don't think it's going this high, by the way. I think it's rather going to here or something. I'm just playing a scalp here, a little bit of scalp here, but ultimately, I do think that this is going to get sold off. I'm going to update you whenever something happens. By the way, I do these updates when I can't be here live or I can't be on the 100x Club. I just do it on Telegram. There's a link in the description. But also, if you're not familiar, I do have a trading channel. It's called the 100x Club. I drop these 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes chart updates every single day. We've got an amazing community there as well, so go and check that out too. But ultimately, this is what I think. We can look at some charts in a second, but I wanted to look at one more thing, which is the total market cap daily retrace. So if you look here, the reason why I can see, and I'm not saying I do see, I can see a push into this region up here at 3.32 trillion, which would be about 99,000 on Bitcoin, right? About 100,000, somewhere up here, right? 99 to 105,000-ish region, because that's also the weekly equilibrium. So even though we completed, if you look at these legs on the daily, but usually markets retrace 50%, and if we would have a clear structure on the weekly back, that would be absolutely incredible. But we can see a push here to this equilibrium at 3.31 trill and then play it from there. Ultimately, until the hourly is broken, right? And it's also a daily level, by the way. So it's a very, very strong level. I do think we need to see a reversal from here, a little bit at least. This here is a strong level, at least an hourly reversal up here at 3.20 trillion, which would be around $95,000 in Bitcoin, and then a rejection from there. If the rejection doesn't come, I would not be surprised if this starts pushing a little bit, taking these new highs, and then rejecting from around 3.31 or about 100 to 105,000 on Bitcoin. We have to see how that goes. Yeah. Long is same size as the short. No. The long is much smaller size. Just got back from the gym. What did I miss besides the tech issue?
I sent it to you.
Did you? Cuz, did you send me something? Proof of nerd. Oh, okay. By the way, they're not sponsors, and no, we don't have an affiliate link, but they're pretty cool. They sent me this hoodie. I showed you on the Christmas stream on the 100x Club. It's pretty amazing. Go and check them out. It's very good quality as well. I don't have an affiliate link. They're not sponsors. They just send it to me. They are cool. Still in power. Yes, thanks, legend. Hot dogs. Who and hot dog? What was the signal for the dump? You can see it on 100x Club, but it was simply. Oh, there was no signal because it just came out. But the market told us there was a retrace to a higher time frame order block. Form, please. I don't know what that means. I received an email about Dylan's trading, but not yours yet. I mean, you should have. If you haven't, please reach out to them. I don't, you know, I'll be honest with you. Next time we will store the emails. I love Bitfun, I love the team, but yeah, this didn't work out that well. Why is your fib not on the high? It's on second high. I don't know what you mean. We want to notice what happened to Black Mirror. I actually don't know. I'm holding some of the tokens that I have. I sent results in Twitter DMs. Same here. 80k or 100k first. 80k. That's literally the title of the show. Turn your music down. I'll turn it off. Okay, cool. Guys, couple of things I want you to think about. You know, I've actually had a lot of people, like, especially when the market turns bad, people are just begging for stuff. They're like, Fefe, can you send me $2,000? Like I'm a bank or something. Like, I don't understand how people do that or why. But anyway, there's a bunch of ways to actually make money. So he's saying still long lit. Yes, sir. I actually hold the bag as well from 2.8. I bought spots and I longed it. So yes, I do hold both of those longs. Anything I do, I actually let you know in the community. Anything, literally anything I do, I post it in here. Anything I do. Any changes I make, anything I do, I have it in here. So, but one thing I wanted to tell you, is that there is a bunch of people who trade every single day, and there are a bunch of opportunities that you might not even know. And for example, Gravity is one of these opportunities. So they're a perpetual DEX. I actually traded, I don't know if you follow my content, I've been in Singapore doing a trading competition, and I've been doing it with Gravity. That's how I know them from. And so they are partners here on the channel, but what they have is not only that you can trade on there and collect the points just like for Hyperliquid that is going to happen on airdrop when they have their token TGE, but also that they are having 10% yield on your margin, meaning if you actually trade and you have $10,000 sitting there as margin that you will use to trade, that yields you 10% a year in their tokens, which is unheard of. There are so many great opportunities. This is one of those, in my opinion. You can earn points by trading, depositing onto your account, investing in their strategy. They have this trading strategy, inviting friends, liquidation, all this stuff. Even though if you get wrecked here, like even though if you watch this show, you're not getting liquid, as Dylan would say, you're not getting liquid. But even if you do, you gain these points, and that will translate to their airdrop. So go and check them out. There is a link in the description. Again, my strategy would be is just to be delta neutral if you can. Generate volume if you can, trade on this if you can, and the airdrop could be a massive. By the way, I actually faded one of these airdrops. So 𝗏𝗏𝗏 came out, and 7 months ago, one of my good friends sent me this link, and it's like, just try trading on 𝗏𝗏𝗏. And it's like, nah, this and that. Well, he got an airdrop worth $400,000 by just trading a $10,000 account there. So anyway, I do recommend you check them out. They're also privacy DEX. They're pretty decent. There's a link in the description, and you can earn the points by simply trading on there. I think it's time. I got the Zoom link from Bitfun after he mailed them. Amazing. Massive loss on lit last week. Yes, it went down like 30%. It was actually kind of. Again, I'm holding on spots, but I think my trade on the bots is still up. Let me just see. But I think they are up. Let me see. Oh, they're down. They're down bad. Look at this. They're down bad. Have these accumulating bots. They're down bad 75%. It's actually horrible. They're completely doing buybacks. I don't even understand why. I think it's rather like a FUD thing that is going on with them. I have, again, this is for 2026. It's a large range. I'm keeping this. There's nothing else to say to that. I'm keeping it. They should check spam box for the Bitfun email. Check your inbox for the Bitfun email. Okay, let's go. Let's go to charts. Zcash, so to say, let's do it because this is why I like these live sessions, because we can actually just rent a bot and just do whatever we want to do. I could answer to all the questions and just look up Zcash and whatnot. Let's go. So Zcash, holy shit, is that? Have you seen this? Do you remember me coming onto the show and saying I'm shorting at 517?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
I have shorted here. And then everybody was like, oh, it's a good buy opportunity. There's nothing broken fundamentally. Buy the dip. And I closed my positions because I was an idiot. So I closed my positions at 20% profit here at $440. And then the dippies keep dipping. And I keep buying the dippy. No, I actually didn't buy. I wasn't. I knew this was a kind of shit. But they're saying like, yeah, no, Don't long. Actually, if you want to do something, short. Draw on liquidity down here, 290. Zcash is going below 300. Make no mistakes. Okay? What? DUSK. What is DUSK? BCH. Is that still a thing? Guys, I'm gonna look this up. Is that still a thing? Look at that. Yeah, it's holding up very nicely. It only had a 6% wick now. I mean, that's actually kind of incredible. Look at this. What is this wick here? Like I said, a gradual 6% wick here. Look at this. What is 7% wick? Holding up extremely well, bruv. Actually, it's an... What is this chart? Is this token still exist? Don't touch. Next. What else do we have here? Sol. Someone is saying Sol. Imagine going on the bus and be like, Sol. Oh, no. What is this? What is this? Is this really how the Sol chart is looking? 10% dump on Sol? Is that... Do I see this correctly? Holy motherfucker! No, so I was short on Bitfund. So I have... Let me just open this up. Let me just open these up here, because I do run my Bitfunded thing, like I told you about it. I'm up about 3. Let me see. So this is a live challenge that I'm running. I mean, it's already a live account. I passed the 150k account in like 4 days. I posted all the trades, by the way, in the community. I'm up 4,000 and unrealized, so I'm up about 2,500. But I actually started the challenge last Thursday, guys. So like, no, not last Thursday. This Thursday before. So I'm at 10 days old. Anyway. Let me go proceed trading. And I have this position open on Bitcoin. That was pretty decent. And then I'm trying to catch a falling knife here. But yeah, I'm going to leave this. I mean, if I want to buy a Rolex from these winnings. That's what I'm doing here, by the way. I'm going to have a whole video about it on the 100x Club. But if you look here, like I'm targeting, guys, I'm targeting 85,000. So my TP here, no, not this one. My TP here at 85 grand is $12,000. That's half of the rugs I want to buy or something. So yeah, definitely heavy short. Power did amazing. It's gonna be okay. I think it's gonna be okay. What is your percentage trade on Bitfunded? Funny that no one is talking about Epstein files. Don't make your community page, please. What is going on with Sui? Let's look at Sui. I haven't actually seen Sui for a long time now. Let's look at Sui. This is rough, not gonna lie. Like this is wow. Like this is rough. Why did we not short Sol? We could have shorted Sol. Why did we short Bitcoin? Like we could have shorted so many other things. Look at XRP. Look at this shit. XRP is down. What is it? XRP is down 25% since the beginning of the month. Bull market, they say. Super second. Buy the dip! Reversals. Look at this beautiful trade here. Oh, on Tron. Oh my god. Look at this beautiful trade. Holy shit. Look at this beautiful trade here. Holy shit. All these are just leftovers. But yeah, such an easy short. Okay, so what was someone saying? I wanted to check a chart. Sui. Let's go Sui. Sui. But I mean, also this is where these are the times where money is made. To be honest with you, these are the times when you have to like really, you know, invest in whatever. If you have a great watching. So Sui. I mean, if you look at Sui here, this ain't bad. This ain't bad for a bounce. Look at this. Bam, bam. Bruh. Sui is going sub 1.3. Sui is one of the things that I think we should short. Look at this. Up here, bam. It's going to be a 25% short once that happens. Link as well. The trade is out. But I mean, what a shit show this. Look at this here as well. What a shit show. Nothing can catch a bid. And things are going much lower, guys. Much lower. In fact, I'm going to close my long. It's just so weak. I'm going to close my long here. Close all. On the 100x Club today on the short update, I was actually explaining how I expect the market to hold the bid and whatever. Screw that, bro. There'll be a little bit of pump maybe on New York and I'm out. Like, it's actually wild how weak the market is. Monero, short no. Fill the wicks from October. Yeah, give me something else to recover lit. What is the max loss on 150 challenge? I think it's 9,000. 9,000. Whereby zone for Link. What my next DCA? Link. Let's look at Link as well. So Link is actually a great project. This is why it's actually kind of weird because Link itself is like a very strong project. You know what I want to buy, cuz? Near. Because of Near Intense. I think that, look at this. So much liquidity, brother. Oh my god. I don't know what's gonna happen this week, but I would not be surprised if we have a 30% dump. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Cuz he's like, no, you're a fucking idiot. No, I'm telling you. I would not be surprised if this was gonna go this. I would not be surprised seeing $10 Link in the next 14 days. Don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. Even Bitcoin, like, honestly, I don't even want a TP at 85. Like, I don't even want a TP at 85. I'm gonna change my TP from 85 as well. I don't even want a TP. I'm gonna TP at 78. Now that would be a stretch, but like, I think I'm gonna TP at like 82. That's almost a Rolex. What if I do? That's almost the Rolex that I want. If I make a little bit of a bargain there, I'm gonna try to, let's do 79,000. I think that's almost the Rolex that I want. Okay, I'm gonna confirm. Okay, good. Stop loss price is out of range. Take profit or stop loss is out of range. What do you mean? What range is it out of? It's out of the range. What? Okay, I'm gonna have to talk to the Bitfunded guys. No, it doesn't even allow me. Take profit. I think I need to refresh here. Hold on a second. Let me just sort this out. 85,000. Let me go here. 80,000. Market. Let's go confirm. It doesn't allow me.
Reopen the page from the dashboard.
Oh, I think it's some technical. Let me just see this. Cus says I should reopen it from the dashboard. Cuz, do you know why this is doing this? I have to call Tarun. Okay, I have to call Tarun. I'm gonna call Tarun and ask him why it's not allowing me to take profit at 79,000. I'm going to take profit at 79,000. Maybe about 80,000. We'll see. Adjust SL slightly. BONK. This guy's asking for BONK for a long time. Let's go BONK. Let's see BONK. Tick bop 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 bop. True, BONK looking good, bruv. Down 34% since the end of the month, the beginning of the month. I mean, but also it's like if you believe that but if you believe that there's going to be a pump, I mean, this does not look bad. It came back 50%. If there was a 15-minute market structure shift, but these charts look fucked. Like the charts look destroyed. Like, what is this? This is like another leg down. I'm telling you, like the chart screams that there will be another leg down. It screams. So anyway, make sure that you're positioned well. And also, I also want to say that this is also where a lot of the gains are made. So there are a lot of cool stuff that is running that you can invest in and buy up early and whatnot. Actually, there is this project here, hey? They also reached out. So I don't know if you follow me or not for a long time, but I've been pretty big in Helium. I don't know if you heard about Helium. Helium is like this decentralized infrastructure, decentralized physical infrastructure network. Basically what they do, they have these little devices and I was climbing on roofs and I was putting them out on the roofs and then it had like a whole sensor network that you could run sensors on. Now there is this project called Accurist. What they do, they're also partners here on the channel. What they do, they're gonna have their TG tomorrow. But they basically turn your phone. So I remember how difficult it was to actually set up Helium miners properly. Now what they do is that you can utilize, I have like a bunch of phones here just laying around doing nothing. And so you can utilize your phone and they run compute on your phone when you don't use your phone. So it's basically like a Helium 4 compute with your phone. You don't have to have a different device. You don't have to buy a new one and install it high and whatever. They just use your Wi-Fi, your capacity of the phone, and when you don't use it, you're charging at night or whatever, they utilize that to actually do compute and outsource that. They can't hack your phone and all that stuff. They have about 170 phones already onboarded, which is quite crazy. 586 million testnet transactions, which is also incredible. So they can run little agents, they can run a bunch of stuff if you allow them to do. Again, they do have their TG coming up tomorrow. Could be very, very interesting. Look out for the network. Check out the site. There's a link in the description. I made 1.7, well, not that much, but over $1 million on Helium when it started in less than 6 months. Now, I'm not saying this will pull the same results. Helium was obviously a leader and the first and, you know, all that. But I know what is possible with networks like this. So just keep an eye on them. There's a link in the description to them. And also, if you have unused phones that you don't mind if the battery is getting drained and whatever, and you connect it to Wi-Fi, I think it's worth trying it out. And even if you just coming from a place where, you know, maybe $10, $20, $30 is a month for nothing is there, I think it makes a lot of sense. 170,000 people on board, very decent backers. Pretty cool. Link in the description. Check them out as well. Solana potential long back to 1. It's pissing against the wind. We'll head over today. Good. 79k Fefe. Holy shit. I might buy and Rolex myself if it hits that level. Watch and wait. Wait and watch. Whatever. Watch. 80,000 is the stepping stone, bro. All right, guys. Is there anything else? Good, Fefe. What about AAVE? Let's look at AAVE. Let's look at AAVE. I want to look at AAVE. Why not? See, what happened to the charts here? Like what? Like it's just max extraction. Like it seems like another 1010 loading. Genuinely, no joke. Like look at this. Like it's such a shit. Nothing catches a bid. And I do believe the stock market still needs to collect 20%, by the way. Just saying. And that could also happen here. Nothing, guys. Short. There's nothing to discuss here. Short. DUSK. Okay, I'm gonna look at DUSK, but I don't know what DUSK is. What do you want me to analyze on this token? A crime token up 400% in the past 3 days. Short. Honestly, I'm gonna short this like there is no tomorrow. Look at this. I'm so gonna short this token. Ferdy, what's DUSK? Why should I not short DUSK? Give me one good reason why not to short DUSK. I think that's the big question. Should I just short this? Should I just max bid short this? Look at this. What is this? I should just short this token. DUSK is going to dust. Let me just see here. Let me just see here. I don't know. I don't know. Pissing in the wind. Pissing against the wind. Author Haste project. Oh, okay. Short it. Okay, let me short it. So I'm actually going to short it in Bitfunded if it's available. So this would be about a 50% stop loss. So I'm going to put now you will get a lesson on risk management. So this is a 50% stop loss here, right? To the high. 50%. That means, let me just see if it's available here. No, it's not. Okay. Well, they're lucky that I didn't short them with size. But what I would have done, I would have just put the 50% up here. And I would have taken a $5,000 position, 1x leverage, 50% of this, 2.5 grand. But if this thing starts falling, I mean, you know, easy. Anyway, oh. That's that. Be careful. I'm very careful. Is Michael buying today? It's not relevant. Who cares? Please check pump. Pump is actually could be a great one. Let me just go here. Take my heart, don't break it. I'm just thinking. Sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I'm singing so well that I think YouTube will recognize the voice and actually give us a copyright strike. So I'm like, I don't want to sing so loud because I just want to make sure. Now trading view is down. Is it only me? What's happening? Like there's everything is down now. I think it's gonna be, the issue has to be on my end. Something is not loading here.
For me, it's loading.
For you, it's loading. Let me just do this. Did no difference. I think it's telling us that I have to stop the stream. Keep your trading job. I don't know what that means. Can we play that upbeat? Did everyone short Dusk? It's dipping hard. You degens. Did you really? I can't open the chart now. No, I can't open the chart. Why? What's happening? Cause why does this not work for me? Like genuinely, no joke. Why? Do you know why it doesn't work? Let me open this up. I'm gonna try to see why this does. How can I open this? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Why? It just simply doesn't load. It does this for me. It doesn't. I opened it on different browsers that did all the stuff, but it doesn't load. Esther, nothing really to it. No signing. That means Tron short. I wouldn't short Tron now. Any words about folks? Why would there be? Was a trade with 𝗙𝗘𝗚 was amazing. Smash them likes, fam. All right, guys. I think that's it. I appreciate you tuning in. I think it was fun. I think we should do more live shows, by the way. I think we should do more live shows. If you want a much shorter version, I'm over at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, link in the description. 5 to 10 minutes every single day. And yeah, join in the community. There's a link in the description. Come back for another one. Not tomorrow, but maybe Thursday, Friday. We could do a live trading session. That would be pretty sick. Guys, appreciate every single one of you. Check out this video. It's going to be the update from the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And